It's L.A. Reid, and you are watching We Sound Crazy.
So did Usher break your mood when he came into your office in '93?
That was early in my career for signing talent. Myself and Babyface, we had probably signed maybe 4 or 5 acts. When Usher walked in, though, I was blown away. He did. He got me to the point where I stopped the audition early.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, stop. And I said, stop. I have to go and get the rest of the staff. Everybody has to see this.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy, your official backstage pass to all things music and culture. I am the music executive, TV executive, and film executive. Your boy Fillionaire's here.
What's good, y'all? I'm a hit songwriter and a hit singer and one half of Louis York. Claude Kelly's in the building.
What's up? It's Chuck Harmony. I'm the other half of Louis York. I'm a songwriter and music producer.
Crazy Crew is Bacon from Macon, music executive, and your true music aficionado.
Royalty is in the building.
Royalty is amongst us.
Royalty is in the building.
I don't get to introduce myself like you.
Oh, we about to introduce you.
We're going to set this up perfect.
I'll leave it to you.
Today's guest didn't just witness the evolution of modern music, he helped create it. From launching some of the biggest artists in the world to shaping the sound of an entire generation, his vision, taste, and leadership have left an undeniable mark on the culture. A true architect of hits, a champion of talent, and one of the most influential executives to ever do it. Please welcome the incomparable L.A. Reid.
Hello. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that, Bill.
Yes, sir.
This is already fun. That's I like the pre-conversation. That was good.
We ain't even dug in yet because your career is so illustrious that we've been having meeting on top of meeting to talk about how to get it all in one episode because you've done everything. And we're honored to have you on the podcast because you're a personal hero of mine, but really of everyone here. We've been down to give you your flowers.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Happy to be here, man. I have so much respect for all of you guys.
So without further ado, let's kick it off. The audience was super excited when they heard that you were coming to the show. So we actually got some viewer questions to ask you because they don't get to talk to you often. So they're like, hey, we want to talk to L.A. Reid. We got a few great questions. Without further ado, our first question. Can we get an official L.A. Reid playlist one day so people can really understand your taste? What's one song that has to be on this playlist?
On my playlist, I do have kind of eclectic taste. I don't know where to start. I would probably put Popsicle Toes by Michael Franks on that list.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about?
Come on, man.
The man knows music for real.
Yeah, man.
Probably put that. And probably Bahama Mama by Alfonso Johnson, the bass player. Yeah. So I don't know.
Those are great answers.
Yes. I'm all over the map.
And I love that. I love that. It makes sense.
Come on, man.
When all is said and done, this is the next question. When all is said and done, what do you want your name to mean with music? Synonymous with music. What's your name? What do you want to be attached to?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would have to say my honesty and my love and affection for music, you know, and I definitely would like to be thought of and remembered as someone who's a champion for music. And I'm not a music snob. Right, because I like commercial music as much as I like music that we think of as having depth.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not a snob, but I am a champion for music, a champion for voices, a champion for incredible songwriters and producers, and you know that is kind of my existence.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's 1,000% fair. I think when people think about meeting with you and all that stuff, they think about your love for music and you're fighting for the very best in it.
Yeah. That is it. And taste is subjective, you know, so sometimes what might be the best to me, especially when I think back over the years now, things that I thought were really incredible, there are other things that I think are better. But not in that moment, I didn't think that.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of subjective and it evolves.
It changes.
Yeah.
That taste is still there.
The next question is, as a music veteran, how do you feel about what's happening with AI music and how it's affecting the music business?
I'm a champion, first of all, of I invite and I adopt and I adapt, to AI. And I think of it like this, though. And if I'm repeating myself from somebody asking me this before, bear with me. But as a young drummer, I used to play, and at one point I was good. There was another point when I wasn't as good. And when I reached that point where I wasn't as good, as life would have it, I was introduced to the Linn drum.
Man.
And the Oberheim DMX drum machine. And I learned how to program them a lot like I played. But better.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was an early version of AI. And if I didn't learn how to program those things in the 80s, my career would not have been the same.
That's fair.
So embrace technology. So to me, AI is just the next plateau of technology. And I think we should embrace it.
So it's a tool more than a takeover.
It's a tool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tool. If you're creative, as you guys are, it's a tool that can help you be better. It's that simple. Yeah. Anything that can help you be better, you should embrace
it. Yes, sir.
I agree. It doesn't replace the gift, but it definitely helps the gift.
Because you don't want to be that guy that's saying, I'm still down. The cassette, it's all about the cassette. You don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean?
You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy.
Now, we always say you have to be careful not to be the dinosaur in the room. So you want to make sure you're thinking that. I agree.
So I embrace it.
So the last viewer question is, if there's ever an L.A. Reid biopic, who's playing you?
Oh, man.
Because there have been a few biopics out there that
had an L.A. Reid
character.
Yeah, unauthorized. 100%. Never asked me. It's like, yo, really? That's
what you chose? Yeah.
When you watched it, what did you?
I never watched.
You never watched?
Yeah. I'm never going to watch. No.
But
no interest in that guy.
Is there someone that you have in mind that could embody L.A. Reid?
Shit, Al Pacino, nigga. No. I don't know.
Why do I love that, though? Al Pacino. Just a badass white man playing L.A. Reid.
I want to be portrayed as a rich white guy.
That's going to really throw them for a loop.
Yeah.
No, I've never thought about it, honestly. Never thought about it. Yeah.
What's one story about your career that people always got wrong?
Let me ask you something. You answer that for me. What did they have wrong?
Oh man, that's good to flip it on me.
He flipped it.
Yeah.
It's a reverse Uno on you.
And I can tell you if you're right.
One story that comes to mind is the Boomerang soundtrack. I had a conversation with you at dinner. This is months ago.
Right.
And we were talking about the amazing Tony Braxton. I always thought, just based off of what I saw, it was because of Anita Baker. Mm-hmm. Like Anita passed on these songs and told LA, man, give it to the girl in the demo. She's the one who deserves these songs. And you quickly corrected me and said, no, with no disrespect to Anita, but it was Reggie Hudlin.
Yeah, that's right.
Who basically said we should give it to the artist that's on the demo.
Yeah. So and you have the story right. So we did make, which song was it? Love Should Have Brought You Home Last Night. Mm-hmm. And You Mean the World to Me. And there's probably another one that I'm not thinking of. And we sent them to Anita, and we gave it a little time. After her having it for a couple of weeks, I reached out to her, and I love Anita Baker.
Same.
And I really love and respect her, right? And I reached out, and she just said to me on the phone, she said, "Baby, I really think the songs are good. I just don't think they're for me." And I respected that. So that was kind of the end of the conversation. I thanked her, and I called Reggie. And I said, we can't get Anita. And Reggie said, well, who's the girl singing the demos? I said, that's Tony Braxton. He said, well, shit, that sounds pretty good to me. Why don't we just leave her on it? And that's how Tony's career was born. But what's really crazy about that is, before that happened, I had a meeting with Tony and her manager at the time. And they said, what is your strategy for breaking Tony? And I said, and I was completely full of shit. I said, I'm gonna get you on a soundtrack, and we're gonna break your career from a soundtrack, and that's gonna lead into your album.
Wow.
And I was improvising.
You weren't wrong.
I was dancing. I was completely full of shit.
Were you improvising or you speaking things into existence?
Bullshitting. Being a record guy.
But what a soundtrack you had! That
What a
was
soundtrack.
Up to the
Yeah,
Rock
man.
Show. That was End of the Road on that soundtrack. You had Johnny Gill.
Listen.
man, PM Dawn. Like that was.
Yeah. It was, I loved it. It was good. And we wanted the soundtrack to launch our label because we had LaFace Records for a couple of years at that point, and we hadn't had any major breakthrough. And Cassandra Mills was president of Giant Records, and they had success with New Jack City, and they broke Color Me Bad. So I called Cassandra and I asked her, like, how's that work? Like, how do you acquire a soundtrack? Like, 'cause I was a kid, I didn't know. And Cassandra put me in touch with Reggie Hutland and Eddie, and we got the soundtrack, and then Face and I went to work, and it worked out for us.
Did it work out?
Yeah,
Did it work out?
Let me get into the mind of a visionary for a second, because you've had so many times where you're in your office and people bring you artists, right? Like to a showcase, to audition, to play their demos, whatever. But you have to be able to have the gift of spotting star power, right? In a lot of time. What is it that you're looking for when an artist walks in the room? What was it that you felt when a Tony walks in, a TLC walks in, a Pink, a Rihanna? There's many artists, but there's a consistency to the way you're able to spot legendary talent. I've always wanted to know what it was you were looking for or what you were feeling that made you know that.
The truth is that I'm never actually looking for anything. I'm allowing it I'm allowing that artist or that musician or to come into the room, and I try to be a blank canvas. Meaning I try to see if it moves me, but I'm not asking it to move me, and I'm not leaning into it so heavily that I'm awaiting it to move me.
Yeah.
I could be in a really like rotten mood or anything, or I could be distracted and thinking about something else. And if the magic is there, that magic will just take me over and take over the room. And I respond to that. But I'm not always I'm not always so zoomed into it that, okay, is this it? Does she have the this or does he have the that? I don't think of it that way. I think of it as I'm busy. And this shit better impress me, or I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You know, it's really more of that, you know. And I like it when people can break my mood, like in a very positive way, in a very musical way. I like it when you can just get my attention, because I'm respectful to talent and I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention.
Right. So it has to snatch your attention.
Yeah, I'm being respectful. So it's respectful attention, but I'm not seeking it. I'm hoping that it'll just grab me.
I know as someone that's been in the room with you many times to pitch songs and watch artists audition for you, that one of your tells, if I can give it away.
Oh shit. Yeah, tell me.
Is LA's interested if those drumsticks come out?
Yes, sir.
And he starts playing drums on the desk, then you know that you might have his attention. He might cut a check. You know what I'm saying? He might sign your, because that means that the music is it's moving him to the point where he feels like he has to get involved. And I used to watch all the time. I'm like, he didn't play drums today. Failed.
But stars have a thing, man. Stars have a thing that if a star walked into the room right now, all of us are facing that way. If a star walked into the room right now, all of us would turn and look.
Yeah.
And none of us know why. They move the air.
Yeah.
They soak up the air and they move the air and they take over the room without really trying. They can just enter the room and we'll all know. You could be in the back of a restaurant. It's true. If a star walks in, you'll just turn around and look. You don't even know why you did it, but it's that magic. It's something very spiritual about it.
It's true.
And I do try to pay attention to that and make decisions.
Your batting average is super high, is all I'm saying. Not everyone gets it on that level.
So did Usher break your mood when he came into your office in '93 and sang to you?
Now, that was early.
Yeah.
In my career for signing talent. That was very, very early. Yeah. And at that point, myself and Babyface, we had probably signed maybe 4 or 5 acts. So we were still new at it. but we had made decisions to produce a number of acts. So in some ways, we thought of that as kind of star picking, but it wasn't. So anyway, when Usher walked in, though, it was I didn't have any expectations, but I was blown away. He got me.
Yeah.
He got me to the point where I stopped the audition early.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, stop. Because it was just me and him and his mom and my brother Bryant. It was just the four of us. And I said, stop. I have to go and get the rest of the staff. Everybody has to see this. So I ran out and I gathered everyone, had everyone come in. And Usher is a performer. He knows how, he's a charmer, he's a performer, and was from the very beginning. And he always had really impeccable artistic taste, meaning he knew what to do and what to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a smart one.
You can't teach that. Taste is different than I can sing good or I can dance.
Yeah.
Taste is another level of...
Yeah, I think taste comes from, you just have to have it. But I also think the greats study the greats, don't they?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they always study it. They always, the nuanced stuff, you know, they always pay attention to, like, what would Michael say? How would Janet handle this? What would Whitney do? How did Prince handle it? What would Springsteen say? What would the Beatles say? People pay attention.
Yeah.
Artists do.
Yeah.
And they sort of, that becomes their like repertoire of theater.
And Usher was that as well.
Usher was ready at 14.
Wow.
At 14.
At 14, completely ready.
Is there artists that you sign, or you signed so many, is there artists you signed that you had to fight for because other people didn't get it? And you had to champion them even when people didn't get it?
I think maybe a couple times I've had to fight for it, or fight for it in my own way, meaning like my enthusiasm, show my enthusiasm for it, right? Sometimes it might have cost more because someone else was interested. So yeah, there have been times, but my general practice is I don't really want to sign anybody that doesn't want to sign to me. Because I always think that if I sign talent that doesn't really want to sign, but they're just opportunistic, the minute we hit a speed bump, which is going to happen, it's going to go off the rails. So I don't want to be in business with you unless you want to be in business with me.
Right.
Right.
Let's be fighting together to make it work.
Because we got to fight together. And it doesn't work always quickly. Every single doesn't work. Every experiment doesn't pan out, right? So you have to be in business with people who like believe in each other, you know, and so I fight if I think that they actually want to be with me or be with my company or somebody on my team. But I'm not going to fight for it just to win the competition.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in music beauty pageants.
Right.
Music beauty pageants.
Yeah, you want to be over there, go over there.
Right.
It's probably best for you.
So obviously we know about the different label chapters and different, whether it's LaFace, Arista, Island Def Jam, Epic, even Mega now. Like, but I want to go back to the producing days.
Okay.
Pre-LaFace Records days.
Yes. I like that.
Two brothers from the Midwest, you and your friend Kenny Edmonds, who you allowed in your band, The Deal.
It was a we. It wasn't just a me.
Okay, it was a we.
Yes, there's 5 of us in that band, and Kenny became the 6th member because the band wanted him. Yeah.
So take us back to that time with The Deal. Like, what is one of your probably your fondest memories from that time?
That was also the era of Thriller, and that was the era of Purple Rain, and even 1999, the Purple Rain predecessor, right? So that music and the impact that music had on us and the impact that music had on just the environment, society at large, it was like the most meaningful time because it was like a shaping, if you will. It was a shaping of what would become, it was new. Thriller was a new thing. Prince and his impact, it was a new thing, right? So it was sort of redefining what success looked like, and we were embracing it, and we were learning, and it was at the same time we were writing songs and we were performing, and we secured a recording contract. But while all of that was happening, the soundtrack to it was Thriller, and
it's a crazy soundtrack.
Purple Rain.
That's crazy,
right? And so we were thinking this as we were working. We were thinking, how do we make music that's like either in the we leaned more to Prince, right? Because you could lean more to Prince if you're a musician. Michael was a little unreachable, like to write like Rod Temperton, to produce like Quincy Jones. That's a little outside of our shit. Yeah, it's a little ambitious, right? Prince felt closer, so we were patterning everything we did after that. And those are the memories I have. It's us of us like not being successful yet, but having the feeling that we were about to be successful, and having some sense of pride about it, and a commitment to what we were doing. We knew when it was about to come, when we were about to break.
So you felt the magic at that time, because in your book, I know you talk about obviously going on tour was The Deal and DeBarge and Luther Vandross.
Right, that's right.
And I'm just thinking about that's so much musical excellence
that's crazy.
On one stage. But you had to know, LA, that was what you all were building, creating at that time. It was greatness.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Like going out, because we literally, and I think I love this about the entertainment business. We were all living in the same house as a band, writing songs. We had all of the rooms were like songwriting rigs, and we were just writing songs and making songs, and it came together. But we were broke, right? But we were broke with pride. We weren't broke like, oh my God, this is a horrible thing. It was like, we're willing to starve for this thing because we believe in it so much. So there was a pride around being broke.
Yeah.
Right, which is a really interesting thing.
That creativity that comes out of that too.
And it was and so when it all came together, we went from being broke to being on tour and doing arenas with Luther and the DeBarge and watching them every night. All right,
Masterclass.
Oh my God, watching Luther Vandross every night. By the way, I love your Luther documentary.
It's so good.
Incredible, right? And it was one of those things. I felt like the world didn't completely know and appreciate just how magnificent Luther was and how his music still is. But I wasn't even a fan when we went on tour. I didn't know. All I knew was never too much. I got out on, right? No shit. I went out on that tour and I started watching the show every night, and I realized how far we had to go because they were like pros.
The live show. He was famous for the live show.
Man.
And the background singers and the presentation of it all.
Nat Adderley Jr.
Nat Adderley.
And what's his name? Yogi Horton was the drummer, and I mean, the band was like insane. It was symphonic. It was so elevated and beautiful, right? And I was like, whoa, okay. So we spent months on the road watching that every night.
And DeBarge, like you talking about like some of the best melodies.
Yes.
Oh yeah. When we came off of that tour, man, I remember me and Kenny were in the studio in Columbus, Ohio, and we were so inspired by Luther that we made Sweet November, which is and we made Sweet November 100% patterned after what our takeaway of Luther was, right? And it wasn't a single, and it's not the most familiar song. Most of your fans don't know what it is, but you should look it up. You should listen to it.
Got Luther influence. It's crazy because there's a through line even from you saying you were on tour with Luther to the sound and the style that became what you and Babyface were known for, right? The romance of it, the poetry of it, the polish of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I have to tell you, like I can't take all the credit, or I almost can't even take part of that credit, because when I met Kenny, before I actually met him, I met his manager, and his manager played me a song that Face had recorded on a TAC 4-track, and it sounded, and I want to say it was called April something. It was, I can't remember the exact title, but he already had that sound.
You already had that.
He had it, man. He had the sound, and I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, I should just quit making music right now because there's no way I could ever make music as good as this. And I never even fathomed that one day he and I would be partners, or that we'd be in the same band, or any of that stuff. So, that's the beauty of God.
That combination, though.
Yeah. I think there's value in the combination, and I certainly brought things to the table.
Yeah.
You know, but that romance, he walked in the door with that.
That romance.
You all always had a knack for making songs that just fit the right artist. Like when you think of a Karen White and a Superwoman, or Girlfriend for Pebbles, like you always knew how to make a song like it's a fine tailored suit or a dress for an artist. Like, what is the process in preparing? Like, if you know that you're going into the studio with a Karen White, how do you prepare for that? Like, what's that process?
Man, as much as I want to answer that and sound like some kind of a genius, I have to give you the truth, right? I learned that from Kenny. Like, I learned that from him. I just observed, man. I was very lucky, you know, to watch him like craft a song specifically for somebody. But more often than not, we didn't make the songs for anybody. We made the songs for Kenny or for the deal.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'd say, okay, this might work better on Johnny Gill, or this might work better on Pebbles, or this might work better on so-and-so. But we didn't really, and we didn't collaborate with the artists that we were producing. Because it honestly, it would throw us off. Like, because we had a thing, we had a way that we worked, the way that we wrote, and the way that we produced songs. And if we collaborated, it didn't feel like the magic. It felt like we were just compromising for the sake of compromising. So unlike many producers that I think are great at collaborating with talent, we were better at making songs and then deciding who should have the song.
Casting.
Yeah.
The casting is
It was casting. That's exactly right. But Face had that down early on, right? He knew what that was. And
that's a whole other skill, by the way, knowing who to put the record on, who's going to sound, maybe not, it's not even about the best thing or the worst, it's about who's going to tell the story the best. That is a rare skill within itself.
And he used to say stuff like this particular artist doesn't have that jiggle in their voice, so they don't know how to rock that beat the same way. So, you know, he was just great at that. I think the combination of our talents were, and you didn't ask this, but the combinations were, he knew how to craft songs, and I knew how to pick talent, and that was the sort of the magic. You know, I could pick songs, but I could pick talent, and he could craft like really, really well, and that's kind of the history of us.
I'm gonna put my co-host on the spot right now.
Oh Lord,
because obviously the LA and Face on the production songwriting side, so much catalog. You got to have a favorite.
Ooh,
I'll go first.
Okay.
Bobby Brown Roney.
I'm gonna go Boys to Men, End of the Road.
Whitney, I'm Your Baby Tonight.
ooh,
That was just superstardom on another level.
ooh.
You just added extra sauce to Whitney's career that was not there before with that record and that album.
Let's see.
I think mine, just because of the growing up hearing this song at all the cookouts, it just means so much to me. Whispers Rocksteady.
Oh,
Yeah.
It still makes me perk up whenever I hear it.
that's a good one.
Wow, well, mine is none of those.
What's yours?
Where Will You Go by Babyface.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Hands down.
This is a good segue.
Is it the lyrics? Is it
It's the whole thing. It's the meaning behind it. Yeah. There's a story, but it's in this.
Yep.
It's in the
We talked
in the
about
box.
this recently. Yeah.
But that's my favorite. Everything about it, like that's the one that sitting behind the console. That's the one that brought me to tears. Yeah.
That's a good segue because, okay, so there's the origin, there's the deal, and then you start writing and producing for big artists, all of which you name with these songs. And then there's a part of the Babyface L.A. Reid collaboration that I think is so groundbreaking and amazing that it deserves its own 10-part series, in my opinion. Like the Michael Jordan documentary. I feel like
The Last
LaFace should literally have this kind of documentary because it's not only what you did individually and what Babyface did individually, what you did together, but it's also that you literally put a whole city and region on the map in terms of creativity and the talent pool and style. As a little kid from New York who didn't really know what was going on in Atlanta, and what that looked and sounded like,
Yeah.
you created new dreams for people. The decision to go to Atlanta and make that the base for your new company and the signing of artists, walk us through that, because it's become the template for what so many business people and record labels and artists have done, that I'm not sure you even realize how influential you are in every single planning meeting. And so I would love to get into your brain about what made that, what was that decision like? What was there fear? Was it, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it? Or like, where were you at?
Oh man. Okay, so this is gonna sound abstract, but try to rock with me for a second.
Okay.
Okay, this is the abstract piece. I was talking about Prince the other day, right? And I made a comment, maybe not a popular comment, that his first 6 or 7 albums, he was a complete original. And after that, I felt like he started to listen to the music that was out, and he was making decisions based on what others were doing. When in his height, in his peak, he wasn't doing that, right? I say that to say that we didn't follow anyone. We just did what we thought was the right thing to do. Like, there wasn't an Atlanta trend.
Right.
There wasn't a let's go to Atlanta because that's where the hits are, that's where the stars are, that's where the culture lives, and that's where the nightlife. None of those conversations took place. We didn't know a soul in Atlanta. We just knew we wanted to leave Los Angeles, as we didn't feel like this was home to us, for us. It turns out that it is, but at the time, it didn't feel like home to us. And we discussed it. We were in the studio. There's a studio on Cahuenga Boulevard. Used to be a studio on Cahuenga Boulevard called Ilumba. And it's where we love to work. It was our favorite place to work. And we were there, Babyface, myself, and Pebbles. And we were just discussing where would we go. So we asked the assistant engineer to put a map on the wall, right? By the way, this is pre-internet, so there was no Google Maps. There's none of that, right? So we put a physical map of the United States on the wall, and we literally stood and had a discussion about each city that we picked. So the first one we picked was Pebbles' hometown, which was the Bay, and we were like, nah, it's probably not the right place for us. Then we looked at our hometowns, Cincinnati, and it was kind of unanimous, no, we're not doing that. We looked at Kenny's hometown, Indianapolis. Nah, we've already done that. Then we remembered being on tour and how wonderful Texas was. And we thought Dallas or Houston, right? And we were just thinking like completely all about comfort. Like we can get a really big, beautiful home in Dallas.
Nice space,
Nice space in Houston. And then we decided that didn't feel right either. So the last place that we thought about before we made our ultimate decision was New York. And we were leaning towards New York, and then we had a realization that our music, we didn't have musical magic while in New York. Because Kenny and I had done a couple of sessions in New York, and the songs that we did didn't become hits. And so we looked at that and said, we don't have the magic.
Yeah, it's not our place,
And then one of the three of us, and I really can't remember who, said Atlanta, and we all unanimously said, yes, Atlanta. And it was that simple. We picked it. And
what a choice.
And my next phone call was to Irving Azoff, who was the president of MCA Records at the time. And Irving, we had a lot of records with MCA. I had really dear friends that were there. Lil Silas Jr. was the A&R. Gerald Busby was the head of Black Music. And Irving was the chairman of the company. So I called Irving and I said, I have this crazy idea. And he said, what's the idea? I said, how does this sound? I'll never forget the phone call. The Motown of the South, Atlanta, Georgia, LaFace Records. And he said, I love it. How can I help?
Wow.
And that's how it was born. Yeah.
Crazy.
So
the rest is history.
Right. And there was no rhyme and reason. We really knew no one. When I say that, I'm not exaggerating. It's not like there was an auntie or an uncle or a cousin. I mean, no one. And we just went.
When you go to Atlanta now, do you hear or see the imprint of the legacy of LaFace still running through the streets?
I can't say that I do. I have obviously a lot of friends there, and one in particular that I really love. When I go to Atlanta, you know the one person I have to see, Tricky Stewart.
Oh yeah.
That's my
Session.
We love Tricky.
I got to go see Tricky first, right? No matter what, I have to see Tricky.
He's the real deal.
This is my guy.
Yeah.
You know, he and his brother Mark and Laney, like they're just, I just love those guys. And so when I think of Atlanta, for some reason I always think of them, and they're from Chicago. So to answer to your question, do I see the impact or that we had on Atlanta? In some ways, yes. But sometimes I see kids in Atlanta and they don't know who the fuck I am. They don't know what we did, you know.
They don't know they're influenced by you, but they're influenced by you.
I went to college in Atlanta, and a lot of creative people moved to Atlanta just because of LaFace Records. So the impact is there, whether you see it or not.
I know that. They don't know it's me.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it was me. It's
promise, I swear it was me.
I'm like, no, bro. No, but there are people, when we were there, like Left Eye moved to Atlanta because we were there.
Right.
Pink moved to Atlanta because we were there. Usher moved to Atlanta because we were there, right? And many, many others. So I'm not shy about what I feel our impact was. But I also kind of like, this is fun, but I don't really live in the past. I'm like, Future. Where's the next one?
Yeah.
And I do think about like, what's the next city? Because like, it was Philly at one point, right? Or it was Macon, Georgia at one point, or it was Minneapolis at one point, or there was, you know, the birth of hip hop, you know, out of New York, right? I think it was the Bronx, right?
The Bronx,
and or the emergence of West Coast hip hop, or the hair bands that came off Sunset Boulevard. I always try to figure out what's next, and so I have to ask you not to turn this around, but is it Nashville?
I think it's Nashville. I think it's Nashville, man.
And I'm being specific about black talent right now.
No,
because we know what Nashville is historically.
Oh yeah.
Is there a new thing that I'm missing?
The wave.
The way you described how you chose to move to Atlanta is exactly how me and Chuck decided to move to Nashville. We were sitting in LA and we're like, this is not really the end all be all home for us. And we had a whole map and we had a list. Truth be told, we had a list of places where weed was legal. And every city on there was weed was legal except for Nashville. And we're like, we could go to Seattle, maybe Denver, Portland. Let's just find somewhere where you could be exotic. And the music infrastructure was there. There just wasn't a lot of diversity and representation, and we knew we could help bring that there.
Yeah,
and when we moved there, Phil was already rocking and rolling, moving and shaking. And when we moved there, we literally moved into the same neighborhood and didn't realize we're in the same neighborhood.
Phil's 10 steps ahead of all of us.
Everybody. And so we're like, what you doing? He's like, everyone knew him. Everyone was calling him to get artists to come to Nashville and do this and that. And somehow in that time, a magical time, it just... And it's not even fully there yet, but there's something going on there.
And what's the music like?
The music is excellent. I feel like the black music needs a lot more love, and I feel like it needs a lot more attention, and more artists like they did with you need to move to Nashville and take the risk. But that's why we're there. Let you know that if you come there, you can find a Phil or find us. And we have a studio out there that just is the same thing. It's a hub where you can come get great records and be developed and be introduced to the right people. And so that's what we followed y'all's blueprint.
Wait a minute, so with your experience in Nashville, is it a place that recording artists, performing artists come to find material, or is it actually the home to recording artists and sort of the future stars? How do you guys view that?
Well, a lot of artists come down there to find the material.
Yeah, that's what.
But now, over the last few years, people are starting to move there. Like a lot of national recording art, black artists, they coming down there. They falling in love with Nashville, and they actually taking up shop there.
Okay.
Yeah. Also didn't realize, because it wasn't publicized this way, Nashville has branded itself as country for so long, they didn't give a lot of credit to the big hits that were recorded there by Black artists and people who came through there. Like when we got there, we realized that the Pointer Sisters were doing things out of there first, and Vanessa Williams did Save the Best for Last right around the corner from where our studio was.
Wow, okay.
But when those songs were hits, no one said, hey, we recorded this in Nashville. You just assumed it was New York or LA or Atlanta. So there's a whole history there that's been buried.
Right.
And so when you start to uncover it, you realize like, oh, this has always been here. And it's where all the artists come to rehearse for the tours.
And black people are the reason why they call it Music City. Yeah. That's from Fisk University.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why they call it Music City.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Those singers went overseas to the Queen in England, and she heard them and was like, wherever they're from must be Music City. And then it's been Music City ever since.
Wow. In LA, I had a conversation after, this is years ago, after one of Clive's dinners with Quincy Jones. And I told him I was in Nashville, and he literally I sat with him like 45 minutes. They were like shutting tables down, like doors locked. He just schooled me on all the history that happened in Nashville, the records he recorded in Nashville, just the musical history. It's a lot of history there.
A lot of history.
So,
and you mentioned Quincy, like that was the beauty of Quincy, wasn't it? It was to sit down and really get the history.
Man, so much history.
He knew it. He shared it in a way no one else did.
Yeah, I'll never forget that night. I have it documented. It was
wow.
Powerful night. But I want to go back to Atlanta. LaFace. We talked about Tony Braxton, TLC, I know we'll get there, and a few, and Usher, we touched on him. But I want to talk about the hip hop movement of LaFace, what you created with Organized Noise, with Outkast, Goody Mob, and there was a brother named Rico Wade.
Yes, sir.
I would say, with all due respect, Babyface is Babyface. We love Dallas. Jermaine, a lot of people played a part creatively into the LaFace empire. But I would raise, outside of Kenny Edmonds, Rico was arguably the biggest creative contributor to LaFace. And I look at from the Outkast to the Goody Mob all the way through to when you were Epic with Future. Because that's literally who brought Future into the office. But can we talk a moment about Rico Wade, what he meant to LaFace and that whole Organized Noise movement, and they did Waterfalls. Like, we can't forget, it was just a lot of creative contribution there.
They did a lot. Rico. I mean, you said it perfectly, right? He was a genius in so many ways. But what Rico meant to me, first of all, I met Rico. Pebbles introduced me to Sleepy Brown, who wasn't Sleepy Brown yet. Pat, right? We called him Pat. And she introduced me to Pat, and he played me some demos, and I was like, that's you? I said, I want to meet you guys, right? Because the truth is, it sounded so good. I mean, it sounded so good that I was like, that's not y'all. It's not y'all. I mean, I'm looking at y'all. You don't look like you sound like. Right. And so we go to studio, Doppler Studio, and I meet Ray Murray and I meet Rico Wade. And they played me a few tracks that they're working on, and it was incredible. I was like, okay, it really is y'all. And my relationship with Rico from that point was a trust. I really trusted him. I trusted his taste. And he didn't try to sell me things. He wasn't a salesman. He was passionate about what he believed. And I loved the honesty in that, because, when you're a record executive, man, people pitch you all kinds of stuff and every trick in the book to try to get a yes out of you, to get you to write a check or whatever it is, right? He didn't have that energy. His energy was purely about what they were creating. And so I, at that point, had never signed any rappers. I never signed, it wasn't because I didn't want to, I just never thought about it. Like, no one had ever walked in. And it just didn't occur to me. And I didn't even know that the music Kenny and I was making was called R&B. We didn't have labels. We were just making songs. And there was no distinction between what was rap and what was R&B. There was no, this predates that distinction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rico, he first brought in Parental Advisory, PA, which features KP. Who's one of my dearest friends and just a really talented, really honest, wonderful man. that I absolutely love, right? He was in the group, and they actually ended up signing to Pebble's label called Savvy.
And with MCA.
Which was with MCA, which was her home as an artist. So, and they were great, and I loved their album. And I remember playing the album in my office, and Kenny Edmonds came in while I was playing, and I remember him loving it also. And there was something about it that was just really musical and warm, and it was just great to us. We didn't really know what it was, and as it turns out, that was the Organized Noise production, right? That was really special. So Pebble signed PA. Then the next act that Rico brought in was Outkast. And they auditioned in my office, and they were very young and very shy. And I didn't think they were ready when they first came in. So I said no, but I didn't, it wasn't a hard no. It was more like, maybe not right now, let's try it again. So they came back a couple of weeks or so later. They were a little bit improved, but I was still not convinced.
So you passed twice is what you're saying.
I passed twice.
Passed twice on Outkast. Right?
I postponed it twice.
Okay, we like that.
I would prefer to say that.
Postponed.
And then the third time, it was at, I forget the name of it. It's a soundstage there that we do rehearsals in. It'll come to me. But they set up a showcase at the soundstage. And this time they had other people in the audience. And it wasn't just like me. It was some of their family, friends, and it was incredible. And it was really incredible. And they were a different act on that stage than they were in my office. And I was very used to signing talent in that really uncomfortable space of, a 5x5 space, and you stand and you just sing or you just do your thing. I was used to that. And the purity of that kind of helps me make my decision, because I don't always like the hype of the room.
Yeah.
I don't want people
confuse you.
Yeah, confuse you. People over popping and dancing too damn hard and shit. And
that's a part of the culture too. It was just like,
yeah, I don't like all that. I want the purity of like, how did I feel, right? But in this case, it really did work. So we signed Outkast and left it to Organized Noise and Outkast. I never met Goody Mob until they were signed. We signed them. Rico said, Goody Mob is next. And I said, okay. I never even met them, right? I met them after they were signed, right?
That was the level of trust you had.
That's the level of trust that I have. I didn't question the albums or anything. Like I didn't even do what I normally would do, which is, Rico, I don't hear a first single. Like, we need to make a couple of more songs to get a first single. None of those conversations took place with anything with Organized Noise involved. It was, I took it, the only suggestions I might have had were mixing. Like, I thought, let's try this mix again, right? It's just not punching hard enough or whatever. Let's try that. And I would discuss things like sequencing albums, but I would just discuss it, but I would never sequence their albums. I would never touch Outkast, Goody Mob, or anything that Organized Noise did. It wouldn't even, like, the respect is that intense. Yeah. So Rico, he's a genius.
The first song, and correct me if I'm wrong, the first song that you all went out with on Outkast was Players Ball, right?
Correct, Players Ball.
What was the methodology behind, because it being Christmas leaning, like it was on the...
It was a Christmas song.
Yeah, it was on the
a great Christmas album.
Yes, classic Christmas compilation. Yeah. Like what was the thought behind that? Because that's so unorthodox for a new artist, and you're going out with a Christmas song as their very first song.
I don't know if we thought of it that way. Yeah. We thought of it as, and it was a community project, meaning it was all of us at LaFace.
Yeah.
And we were making the LaFace family Christmas, and we didn't want to leave anybody out, so between T-Boz and my brother Bryant, they both brought to my attention that Outkast should be included.
Yeah.
And they have a song, and I was like, cool. It was that simple, right? It wasn't a great strategy, like we're gonna put them on a Christmas album, we're gonna break them. It wasn't that thought through. It was more inclusive of, yes, even though they aren't a traditional act that would make a Christmas record, they should not be excluded.
Yeah.
And so they came up with the anti-Christmas, which was Players Ball.
So good.
Yeah,
So creative.
Classic.
Yeah. When I heard it, I knew.
You knew?
I 100% knew. And
It's classic.
they'll tell you, Big Boy and Andre, they'll tell you. I remember when I got it and I got the mix and it was on a cassette, right? And I went where they were and I was in a limousine and I put my head through the top of the limousine and I held it up like this and they know what I meant.
See, that's why you gotta get the right person to play LA in the movie.
They know what I
because
meant. And I
legendary.
knew that was it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned just now T-Boz, right? And
Yeah.
we've talked to, on this podcast, we've talked to Dallas, we've talked to Deborah Killings, we've talked to several people from
KP.
the sound, KP, a lot of people. And the two names that always come up as like culture shifters and influences are Rico Wade and T-Boz.
Yeah.
As the tastemakers, the ones who had their ear to the street, the one that knew
Right.
who got next. So I want to talk about T-Boz for a second.
Okay.
TLC, for sure, but her personal taste and her influence to be able to come to you, the head of the label, and be like, yo, that's bold. You know what I'm saying? It's very bold as an artist, new or even veteran.
Right.
Talk about her, specifically T-Boz's Atlanta influence and how it helped to shape some of the things that happened with the company and the sound at the time.
So, when you meet people who are just in the moment, she was just, T-Boz was in the moment, right? She was on the scene. She was in the music community. She was in the dancing community, the skate community, the hair community. She was in the culture, right? She worked at a beauty salon, but she loved to skate and she loved to dance, and she loved fashion. She was just in it, and she was like a buddy, and she didn't hold back on her opinions. She was really, forthright about her opinions, and I just kind of took to that. And it became like kind of a guiding light, and because that's kind of what it's about when you do what we do. You gotta have some people who have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Because
trust them too,
and because everything is like, it all changes, and like none of us have our finger on the pulse like forever. None of this shit lasts forever. Right. So you just try to tap into people who are in the know. And at that point in my life, T-Boz was like, she was just in the know, man. She just knew, right? And we were new to Atlanta. We didn't know much about Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I needed somebody to, I needed a translator, because I didn't know what the fuck Rico was saying. I was down with it, but I was like, I didn't, I'm from Cincinnati. We're country, but
it's a different kind of country.
I didn't quite catch all the dialect. I didn't know what everything meant. And like T-Boz told me what a hater was. I didn't know what a hater. I never heard that word. A hater. What's a hater? We didn't use that word where it came from. So it was like that.
Yeah.
She just knew, and she had taste.
Taste.
And when I think about LaFace, and many people may not realize this, but there was a lot of amazing women that were the driving force of LaFace Records.
Yep.
Pebbles, your ex-wife, she was like, I guess I would call her the Suzanne de Paz.
I would agree.
And
she was the Suzanne.
You had young Shanti Das. You had, hell, your intern was Ethiopia, Captain Miriam. It was so much greatness. But can we talk about I want to go to just Pebbles, because again, what she contributed, I don't think a lot of people realize the greatness that exists, her contribution to LaFace.
Yeah, Pebbles was absolutely she was the godmother to the birth of Atlanta's music scene. She was the magnet, right? Because she was a star, but she had swag, and she was outside. She knew how to be social, and she was the magnet that really. And I think if I tried to define like why we had success in Atlanta, I have to start with the fact that Pebbles and Babyface were stars in our community, right? So they were the magnets that like brought everybody in. So and that's why I struggle with like trying to take credit for stuff. I I know I made great contributions that I'm proud of, but I don't think I would have had those opportunities if I didn't have these two as magnets. Anyway, so Pebbles was that. She was a magnet for talent, but she also had a vision, and she put TLC together, right? And there's a lot of stories about it, but the truth is, you know, T-Boz and Left Eye came to her, and then I met Chili, and she put them together. But she also helped us with everything we did. She helped us with Tony Braxton. She helped us with obviously the Organized Noise relationship. She brought Tony Rich to the label, right? And Tony, like, that's one of my favorite songs. Nobody knows. That's one of my favorites, right? So she was really instrumental and very Suzanne DePass and unsung in many ways.
Unsung.
And I
agree.
I wish you guys would interview her.
We're working on it. We're gonna,
she gave us a no, but
but much like Outkast, we're gonna come back again.
But and let me preface that because Pebbles was instrumental in my career because I was her piano player when she started a church and she wanted to do the album stuff. I was the piano player. And so she introduced me to Tony Rich and all that stuff. Like she was instrumental in that stuff. So her no wasn't, we were cold calling, no, I'm not doing it. She was like, respectfully, because I got to make some money off my story. So, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully, but I love Pebbles to death, and I'm glad we're talking about it because I don't think she get her flowers.
No,
like
I don't
that.
think she does either.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. She doesn't get the credit for the work that she did and how visionary that work was.
Yeah.
And how hard it was to pull it off, you know, being that she was a recording artist herself.
Yeah.
And very young.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there wasn't that built-in level of intimidation that you might find with what I'll call just like a record executive, a suit. You know, she was an artist.
Yeah, man.
Definitely a visionary.
we sound crazy cold. So in the spirit of, we're talking about LaFace. Love to know your favorite LaFace album.
Ooh.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's got to be Crazy Sexy Cool for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony Braxton's debut.
All right.
Who on the TLC tip?
Oh, nice.
Boomerang soundtrack.
Nice. All nice.
He's like, but not what I would choose.
Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be.
Wait,
Mr. Jones.
Hold on.
Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be.
Hold on.
That's the culture, man. That's the culture. It's not the biggest. It didn't have the biggest global smashes, but that's the album, man. That is culture.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I never would have guessed you would have said that. I don't know what the hell I would guess you would have said, but I wouldn't. I'm not mad at it, but I'm like, he always.
And
choice always surprised me.
But I love hits. Don't get it twisted. He had hits on that album.
Hits.
Right, he had hits on. So I'm not like Mr. trying to be the cool nigga that's picking the obscure shit. No, I like hits more, right? But that just happened to be my favorite album. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it the songwriting, the production, the artist? What? It's just everything.
Albums to me are sometimes albums are a collection of hits, and I'm either responsible or guilty for making those kinds of albums, right? But sometimes it's just this seamless continuity that from the first song to the last song,
yes, sir.
that it's just a flow, right?
Yes, sir.
Like when I listen to a Sade album, right? Like it, you know, it's just a thing from the very beginning, and there are others. But to me, that Donnell Jones album has that. And a lot of our other albums have big hits, but I guess because I worked on them, I could hear where, okay, this is a Dallas Austin song matched up against a Jermaine Dupri song, right next to a Babyface song, right next to an Organized Noise song, and that might be Crazy Sexy Cool, and it's great, but it's a different thing.
Than just the seamless.
And it's just,
I mean, Donnell's album, it still stands up today. I got to be honest. I still listen to it pretty
absolutely.
consistent. I get you though.
You saying Donnell Jones, was it that way back then, or over the years it's just become one of those things that's just stuck to your ribs over the years?
Even then, it was somewhere between the Tony Rich album and Donnell Jones. And Donnell's was just more cultural.
Yeah.
Not to be disrespectful to Tony's. Tony's leaned more pop, and Donnell's just felt like more soulful and more cultural. Yeah, because I don't really listen to a lot of the music that we made often, but I'll listen to that.
I want to mention one more artist you signed in the LaFace era, because in a lot of ways it was a precursor to some of the masterful, diverse things you did later on, and that's Pink.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy and WeSoundCrazy.com. Click and subscribe below.
We sound crazy.